What is happening? This is going to be tough, but we're going to get it done. We've got previews today of 2A and 3A. Today, right now, it's going to be 2A. And I know, man, we're sitting here the day before the state tournament. The roll around is tonight. We are all up to our eyeballs in everything that we're doing, from previews to ticket punched and getting my photo media team ready to go. And we are slammed, but it is the best weekend of the year for us once we get past all the BS and we get to this. So Cabra, SE Wrestle, holy shit, what a week it's been so far, huh?
Let me just say first off that everybody listening and or watching can be glad that we have not developed a smell element to podcasts.
Oh,
Scratch and sniff.
scratch and sniff
It's been a
because
long, long week.
are you
So
saying
there are times,
we've taken at
just
least one
give
shower
everybody a
this
little
week,
perspective.
right?
Give everybody a little perspective. There are times when you go, man, that is such a good idea. I should do that. That is going to make this just that much better.
Yep.
And and then you hit Wednesday morning or Tuesday night at, you know, 3 a.m. or whatever it is, and you're like, that was the dumbest
Yeah.
idea I have ever had. So
But
I
you've
want
already committed 10 hours to it, so you got to do the other three to finish it.
Right. No, I mean, I can't. So I write this stupid long thing, and it's not like I can write it for 106 to 190 and then go, oh man, I can't do it anymore. I'm just going to do 215 and 285 and not really do them. No, if you commit to it, you do it, you finish it up. But man, it is hard. And I know what Brant's going through. I know Dan's got 10,000 ticket punches going on. But you know what? That's our problems. You
Yeah.
know
Yes.
what? We are here to talk 2A. We are excited about the 2A
So
state
thrilled.
tournament. And if you missed,
335 ticket bunch so far, and I think 10 or 15 more came in last night. Um, so I'm sure I'll have those done before roll around, because I know if I get them all this before roll around, when the kids come into roll around, they should be up there so they can have that moment of like, yo, I fucking made it, which is very cool. So um,
and it is cool. And that's
It
the
is
thing
very
that I
cool.
think that everybody should keep in mind. And that is like, it's such an honor to just be in Silver Spurs this weekend and be able to compete. So, many of you or many of your kids have have been there before, and they're used to the bright lights and all the things. For others, this is their first and maybe only trip, and this is their opportunity. So, soak it in, enjoy every moment of it. We, like everyone else, you know, do this because we actually love doing it, not for any other real reason.
Yeah,
yeah,
and the thing that kind of sticks to me, and again, not making this about ourselves, but talking about like the work that we're doing, and all of us, all three of us, have this mindset of it, and it's so important not just to get kids' names out there for it, but to get them right, to make the best product we can, to get the best picture on the jumbotron, to have the right picks, to have the most information as we can have to process this. Because while it's really cool just to put names out there, we'd like them to be accurate and
Oh,
have our
100%.
have our predictions reflect what could or should happen, on a highest percentage basis. And it's an honor to get to do that. And so we're not complaining about it, but man, um, we are just excited to see how all I'm like going through these. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch this. I can't wait to watch this. And we're just about there. Not there yet. We still got to preview a couple classifications, including 2A first. But excited for this weekend, and every kid that got there, pat yourself on the back. You earned it.
yeah, man, I agree. And I think this is the third season, I think, third or fourth. I think it's the third season with the actual contract where I've had employees there helping me. The first three or four, I was just there by myself. But I think this year I finally have a big enough group where maybe I can actually walk around with my camera, take pictures of whatever I want. But I can also, when I see a match going on, I don't have to be so focused on getting the shot at that match. I can actually go, wow, I want to watch this match. And I can sit there and watch it because I know I have somebody handling that for me already. So it's going to be really cool to get a chance to do that part of it, right?
Yeah, I wish my staff was there, but she's got to compete, and
Yeah.
I'll
And
have to
then
actually.
My
I can't get
staff.
my staff, my daughter.
yeah,
I wish I had her there Thursday
and
and
getting to
Friday
mingle
so I
with
could
everybody and
space out
stuff.
and watch the best matches. But yeah, it's
Well,
so much fun.
we
So
Well,
we're
got
gonna start
you
with
know,
2A. Are we gonna pick
yeah, two
so
A.
which weight
yes,
class first and then
The,
go
the
from
we're
the
gonna
there?
person in
start.
charge of us always, guys, is Jason. He keeps the ball rolling because I can go down a rabbit hole and pick all 16 kids to win it all. But lately, they have told me, don't do that, Dan, that, blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am going to be matter of fact.
Neither of us
You don't
Somewhat.
speak
have to
like
be
that,
matter of
and
fact. I'm just
neither of
trying to
us have
keep you
said that.
moving. All right. So yes, we'll begin with the question we began with both in girls and 1A, and that is, what is a one weight class that I don't know you're most interested in watching, the one weight class that you think is going to be, I don't know, the wildest. What is the weight class into a that stands out to you?
Oh, pick
Brand?
me, pick me, pick me.
Pick
Brand?
Brent.
There's a few that stood out. 132 just really has me um excited heading into the weekend, and one of the main ones I got wrong in my region picks was I felt we're talking at top here that Carlos Sainz would avenge his district loss, but Lucas Barrios has now beat him 2 straight weekends. Uh, Tiebreaker in the region final, 4-1 in the district final. When they met in the regional duels, Sainz won 3-1. They're on opposite sides of the bracket. It's not easy roads for either of them, but if they get there, I'm excited for that. But then you got like Roberto de Jesus, who has wrestled Sainz twice in the past 2 years. It was an ultimate tiebreaker when they wrestled this year. They actually wrestled at this tournament last year, 7-5. They're a quarterfinal match in
I
132.
know that's crazy.
You've got big first round matches. You've got Davion Montanez against Jackson Perry, two guys I have top 8, which means podium worthy. And now they're meeting up in the first round. You have Jason Weisgold and Elijah Grant, two wrestlers that I have just on the outside of the podium, but who wins that match kind of has gets a say in the bracket and kind of can mess things up, if you will. There's just so many different things here that start with the first round and go all the way through 132. And then I haven't even mentioned Aiden Cortez,
Right.
the region champ out of Pace, who's 35-4 and has shown he can compete with some of these guys. It's a thrilling weight class.
Well, and I don't know if you mentioned Jaden Weissel. Did you say?
Yeah, I did. I
Did you
Weisco and
say?
Grant,
Okay, yeah. I
they're
mean,
wrestling.
like, I'll tell you, the
Evan Cope I didn't mention. There's another
Evan
region champ.
Cope. Yeah, I mean, the weight class is great, headlined by two outstanding freshmen, no doubt. But I'll tell you what, no one in this bracket can look ahead
No.
because this bracket is full of landmines. If you're tuning in, this would have been one of the couple that I would have picked as well because I think it's just absolutely outstanding from top to
Yes.
bottom.
Got a good one. The
Brant
doctor
got it
like
right. Brant
doctor
got it
likes my
right.
pick. I can
Yeah.
retire now.
I'm going to, and with all due
Watch
respect,
Dan pick the one I was going to pick. Go
this
ahead,
is
Dan.
this was a quick looking because I've been inundated with ticket punched, but I'm looking and I really like 120.
Okay. Why?
I see Garrett Ferguson, Kane Drake. I see Cash Kalililu and Eric Bush. And in between them, there are some landmines. But man, if we could get a Garrett Ferguson, Eric Bush finals, I think that is one that everybody should crowd around and watch. Those two kids have been wrestling out of their mind, but there's a Kaliao. I don't want to say his name wrong, but there's a Cash
So
Kaliao.
you're
Okay.
just gonna butcher it as much as you can.
Yep. Who, when he's on and he's a senior and he's hungry, he can really, really do some damage. So,
He
yeah,
has improved a lot as the season has gone for Jesuit.
um,
Comes in as a region champ out of a really tough region.
Hmm.
Just to note, Eric Bush, state finalist last year. Year before that, he won a state title up in Illinois. Garrett Ferguson, two-time state placer, three-time state qualifier.
Hmm.
He gets that top line being the Region 1 champ out of Gulf Breeze. Um, Certainly, and you have Dominic Baxter down in the
Hmm.
bottom out of Pace, who had beat Ferguson last summer, and Ferguson got his vengeance at Region. So those guys stick out. And as you mentioned, Dan Drake, the freshman out of Jensen Beach, who is also uh, you've seen his performance improve throughout the years. He's grown
Dangerous. I
into
like,
being a freshman at Jensen Beach. So.
yeah, I like the weight class. I think it's going to be fun to watch. And, um, looking through all these weights, there's a lot of things like that. But
So,
that's where I'm at.
so
Jason,
one of
you're
the
up. Survey
one of the
says,
things about 120 I like is that the formula kind of worked out. You know,
Yeah.
Ferguson and Bush are on opposite sides. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
we do not see that throughout 2A. It's really a shame. I would talk about 285. We're going to save that to
I would
the
say we'll
end. That's
save
not.
that shame to
Yeah,
the
I don't
end.
want to talk about that now. Um, but getting the brackets and putting people in the right spots, I think, really showcases the sport and is very important. But I don't want to belabor that point.
right. And
I am going
I heard you
to.
say 285, and I
Yeah,
almost,
and I want to
I
save that
almost
to the
went
end.
there.
So we're actually going to go with 215. And the reason I'm going to go with 215 is you have a headliner in Jeremiah Chavis, right, who is an absolute hammer. There is no doubt about that Chavis is um, he has wrestled some of the best competition around. He lost pretty early at the knockout, battled all the way back, came back and took third, and everything else. He sits on the bottom side with a 22-1 Tyson Reyes, who has a really tough opening round with Jelani Bentley of Tavares down there. But the thing I think everybody needs to watch are a couple things. Number one, up top, you've got Porter Loveland, who also has been on the podium. He knows how to win. He took third, I think, a year ago. Caleb Johns, who has lost to Chavis a couple of times, but he's also right there. Freedom McDaniel, who shares that quarter, that's a great match. One of the best matches in the freaking tournament at in the opening round is Suarez versus Mendez. That's going to be a great match. But the thing I want everybody to keep in mind is that while the top side is brutal and it's trying to get to that final, probably opposite of Chavis, Loveland only lost to Chavis in tiebreakers at the knockout. So
Yeah.
just because you have this kid that is at the very top and who is my favorite doesn't mean that it's a foregone conclusion who's going to walk away with the title here.
And I like to point on this weight class. I found a ranking I did wrong. I think Loveland, I forgot last year that Loveland actually beat Johns here, 2-1 for third place. And as you said, he wrestled Chavez twice or close at knockout rather. Um, I love the top half of this bracket, and I think Loveland is going to have his work cut out for him to get there. He could wrestle number 6 and number 2 on the way there on according to my rankings. I mean, that's not an easy way. Um, and the backside is where this really gets good because you do have Tyson Reyes, who's had a fantastic season for Jensen Beach, and if he's anywhere else in this bracket on the other side of Chavez, then uh, you might be able to talk to him as a finalist contender too. He's 22-1 and has had a fantastic season there, kind of growing into himself at Jensen Beach this year.
Yeah, it's a great bracket. I mean, 215 and 2A. And the thing that I mean, again, I love is that Chavez is a sophomore, Reyes is a junior, McDaniel's a junior, but you've got a couple of seniors in this bracket who have yet to win a state title, and they have to be motivated to make one final run.
And one more thing on Chavez, and if Dan wants to fill in, as I'm doing these rankings, not rankings, these previews, a lot of times you get a bunch of region champs that haven't faced each other. Chavez has beaten this season Johns, Loveland, Mendez, and Suarez. He has wrestled anyone and anybody that he can get in front of. And that is a rarity in some of these brackets.
Yeah, it is.
He has stamped his favoritism, earning to being the favorite on the mat, and that I think is significant too.
Yeah.
And I think the experience he's gotten over the last few years, he was so blessed to be in 1A and have to wrestle Peter Mako all the time and have to wrestle the gentleman that was at Mater Lakes last year that wrestled Peter in the finals. And he went
Soto.
through the killer brackets this first couple of years at 1A, and he moves over to 2A, and he's taken on all comers. He's wrestled at all the big events around the country. He even wrestled at the huge national event, the Big Cheese, where he brought home a huge, was it runner-up or something? He placed there.
I think
Um,
so.
yeah, and
They bring home cheese.
if you follow his dad, the Big Tatanka, you can get all his results throughout the year. So, but yeah, he's definitely looked good this year. He's looked poised to finally get that first chip. So good luck to him. I agree with
Well,
you.
the thing that stands out to me, and this is,
How
and I don't want to belabor it because we got a lot of weight classes to go through. But one of the things I will say, I love to watch kids at like the knockout who hit a bump in the road. I don't think he anticipated losing the gentle, who is absolutely a hammer. Don't get me wrong at all. He was in the finals obviously against Mako, so he's obviously that good. But to come back and fight your way through tiebreakers and everything else on the backside of the knockout to take third, that's a huge measure in my book. It's just a huge statement of how good someone is, both physically but mentally, the ability to kind of bounce back and kind of take a loss and keep moving forward. So
And top wrestlers don't always get that experience there near. And
no, they
that's
don't.
when you go to tournaments like that, that is, most coaches, nearly every coach you talk to will tell you that you learn the most from losses. It's hard to get some of these guys losses, and to be able to find one for him and then get to see his growth from that. Just cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the backside of this weight class is going to be really fun with all those. There's a lot of hammers in between Loveland and the top four guys here that could really we could really get a show on the backside.
Let's jump down to 106 where the bracket gods were not kind to us.
Is like,
Um,
I mean, I don't know how you get 106 right anyway. It's so crazy, wild,
Well,
and
because
deep,
Region
and
2 is
yes.
so deep. And, Jackson Hackett put himself in an absolutely the best position because of winning there in
Mhm.
Region 2. That now puts the bottom side of the bracket as an unbelievable just grind to get to the finals.
Oh,
And
sure.
I'll be honest with you, I'll just share with you, like I wrote for mine, and it'll be released this morning. Um, I put Hackett as the favorite, and I know Nassif is the number one seed, but that side of the bracket, anybody can beat anybody. Um, and Hackett, I'm not. That's not taking away from anything from Vladimir Drown, who is a returning state placer, I believe,
and
and all
and
of that.
with them being in the quarterfinals, guess what happened back at Super 32 early entry? Drown beat Hackett
Right,
3-0. I
right.
mean, there's landmines all over this bracket.
There is, but you cannot argue that the top side is anywhere close to the bottom side.
It's a little bit gentler. It's ironic, I guess. I don't know if that's the proper word, but you do get the easier side. But the one guy that beat you over the summer happens to be there. But in the bottom, according to my rankings, four of the top five wrestlers: Nassif, Ethan Rayleigh, Robert Frioff, Kaio Sains, just all of those guys can beat each other, and they've done that before. On any given day, and they're all going to be in the quarters and the semis. Some group of that most likely. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. The one guy in here I remember seeing Robert Freehoff wrestle during the summer, I believe it was. We were up in the Ryan Blackwell for he does his camp during the summer, and then at the end of the camp they do a tournament, right? I remember watching the young man wrestle there, and I believe that was where it was because I remember looking at Mason Basil and saying, "Man, that little kid looks like he's going to be really good." And throughout the season as a freshman, I think he's a freshman, right? You've seen
Hmm.
him really start to develop and really start to get really, really good. And I think, obviously being down there on the bottom, he's going to have to wrestle out of his mind, just like any of these kids here, because it's a grind down there. But he's somebody that I like to keep my eye on because he's somebody that is good enough to beat anybody at any given time. Um, I think down there, anybody with the last name Sains, is going to bring it. They're just tough as
Sixth
nails.
grader.
Yeah, a
Is he
sixth
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 grade.
grader
grader
right
at the
now?
bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Wow. Yeah.
The thing that stands out too, when you're bringing up Freehoff, is so Ethan Riley kind of gets his name out there when he wins the district
Beats
final by
Hackett.
beating Hackett.
Hmm.
But then Freehoff comes in and beats Rayleigh, and then Hackett then and Freehoff wrestle in the region final. I mean, they're all that tight that anyone
They
can win
are.
on a given day.
right. Yeah, I mean those guys. This is so much fun, and we just like we spoke about during 1A, guys from sixth grade to ninth grade in this bracket, even 10th grade. There's going to be some kids here that we may see on a national level do big things, just be that good, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one long shot to watch for a possible podium. He finished fourth, but Jaden Jacobs, freshman at Lyman, you finished fourth in that region. That kind of happens, but tough kid. He's got a couple good wins, and he gets to wrestle someone in that first round who he's beat this year. Not saying he's going to be contending in some of these things that we're talking about, but there's a guy that I have, finished fourth. I have ranked 12th. He could be on the podium when this weekend's done. Just someone to watch.
And listen, as you said about Jackson Hackett, I've gotten to watch him wrestle a few times this year, and his improvements have been very noticeable. And the one thing that he doesn't ever stop doing is wrestle. Like the kid just goes 100% all the time. But man, how about that getting a Vlad down or an Ian Kelly right there in the quarterfinals? Those are two tough, tough kids. He can't look
One of the
past that.
things that I think is extremely important to point out for those people who don't, as we go through this and don't really know, um, you know, Gibson, certainly Gibson and Jesuit, maybe to a little less extent, Somerset and a few of the other teams, but certainly those two teams, every single kid, I mean, kids who are going to win state titles have losses. And the reason they have losses is because they wrestle the absolute best. Gibson goes up to Iron Man. Jesuit was what in
Cheesehead.
Pennsylvania. I'm sorry.
I said, and they went to Cheesehead also. I was
Yeah,
following
Cheesehead.
up.
I mean, and that's not to say anything away from staying in the state of Florida with the level of competition you can get down in the state, but it's about putting yourself in those positions of taking L's and learning from that situation. And I don't know that you see a lot of O's in 2A as maybe you see in some of the other classifications. And the reason being is the best kids go out and compete against the best kids, whether they see each other at Singletary or Braves or Knockout, or they're up at Cheesehead or somewhere else.
And then you see those two teams kind of back into their cave with about a month to go in the season, 3 weeks to go in the season, and they kind of regroup and they get their plans together and they come out, and then we see a regional that's won by only 10 points.
Yeah, we'll talk. We can talk team at the end. Let's tease that. I know we didn't talk teams as much in the other ones, but
We
this
didn't,
this one I
and we
think's
should have.
worth talking teams. We'll do that at the end.
All right, so let's move to 113. On and 113, we've got on the bottom side RJ Phelan. Speaking of which, late Gibson kid, returning state champion. He shares the bottom side with Gary Mendez of Mater Academy. Up top, man, just a really good group. Again, up top, Zach Lato, who dropped to Phelan in the finals, and I think has lost to him a few times throughout the course of this year. Caden Moore from Charlotte, region champ. Jason Marsala from Childs, also returning either state qualifier or state placer. And then you've got another great freaking opening round match. Kano Austin, yet another Somerset young hammer, and Jackson Stover from Brandon. Great weight. Another thing to I mean, we could just spend a lot of time talking about this, but I'm gonna limit it to you guys to a little bit less time. Go ahead, Brant.
Yeah, I mean, Phelan is your favorite here. Rematch possible in the semifinal against Gary Mendez from last year's state final at 106, which he won 9-6. This year against Lido, he's 3-0 on the season.
Yep.
He's beat him a variety of different ways, but the thing that stands out to me when you get past all that Austin and Stover first round match, uh, two of the top five guys, according to me, in this bracket, and they wrestle in the first round. And uh, the bracket is such where I, a loss there. Some of these you lose. The bracket gets kind of rough. It doesn't. I have them facing again in the Conci semis, but you win this, you have a winnable quarterfinal. Next thing you know, you're in a semis, and then anything can happen once you get there. So that match is the one that really one of the main first round matches that stood out to me in this entire Class 2A bracket was that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a bracket filled with amazing, amazing opportunity for us to see some good matches. But yeah, that Austin Stouffer match right there is going to be absolutely tremendous. And if whoever gets through that could end up, in the semis. Um, we'll see what happens over there on the bottom. But yeah, I think you're right. Coming into this state tournament, I think RJ Phelan has proved that he's the favorite. Um, I know Gary Mendez, I'm sure, has had RJ in the back of his mind all year since last state final. So um, unfortunate that they got put on the same side, but fortunate for us as fans if they end up in the semifinals because we're going to get to see a great matchup there, I'm sure, as we did in the state tournament last year.
Yeah, no doubt.
But Cano Austin is somebody that, when he's on and he's wrestling like an Austin, he wrestles really well. But there's
Yep.
been times this year where he's been a little up and down, right? And
Not Austin, like.
correct. And I've talked to the mom and stuff, and she said, he's young, so he's just starting to get his mind right. He's just starting to figure things out. And yeah, I mean, listen, when you got Jake and the other one above you, uh,
Yeah. Speaking of which, shout out to his big brother, who I think is ranked like number 21 in the country for Central Michigan. So,
yeah, he's it's a really good family, and I love seeing them doing well.
all right, jump into 126. We actually have a pretty spread out top four, which is great. Number one, Kale Seneca comes in 41-1 on the season. He shares the top side with Ryder Cohen, Gulf Breeze. You've got a couple of Smiths up top, who are both super tough. Will be really interesting to see them compete. I think Ethan Smith lost pretty closely to Tyler White, 8-7, I believe, in the region final. So that should give you an idea of how tough they are. Down below, Tyler White, number two, shares the bottom side with Sayer Lopez. But, don't sleep on a Nathan Harvey out of Middleburg. I think that he's a definite one to watch on the bottom side. Go ahead.
The thing about this one is you got four region champs and none of them have wrestled this year. I mean,
They
it's
haven't wrestled each
so,
other. Yeah.
and none of them have wrestled each other. And sometimes if they didn't wrestle some of the other guys in regions, we wouldn't even have that information. What I have been watching in this, and I've not seen Kale wrestle this year. He's 41-1. His only loss, I think, is to Kroom from Florida High. If there's someone that, if I was him, I'd be watching, it's
No,
Tyler
it
White.
wasn't Kroom. He lost
Who?
at, I think he lost at
That's what I get for trying to use my memory.
he lost at the Colby. Uh,
Seneca did?
Yep, because I
You're right.
remember
That's right. It was another that Kalava from
Kalava.
South Asia,
Yep,
right?
Kalava.
Six
It was
five.
a really,
My
really
mistake.
good
My
match.
mistake on that one. There's another one that
Look at that. I know something. Holy shit. I did that all on my own, guys. No
I'm
cheat sheet.
impressed. I'm impressed. Um, but if there's someone to watch, I think it's Tyler White. This kid
Hey, a
has
blind
been.
squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
So we got to. All right. So let's stop the show. Hold on. All right.
I remember the match so well because Kale's been working so damn hard. And I
Yeah.
remember one of his coaches was sitting next to me going, okay, this is good. We needed a match like this. We're going to get back to
Yeah.
work.
And so, but I would say the one person I think that poses the most threat there is probably Tyler White. And as I was saying, he seems next level in the wrestling that I've seen him do.
Mhm.
Comes in here as a senior in that room, in that program, in this building where they're one of the teams that always seem to find some magic. 126 final. If it plays out chalk like I have it, I think it's going to be one of the ones to watch.
Well, and I can tell you that I watched video of Seneca beat Georgia two-time state champion Tyler Herring up at I think the Hookham Holiday Clash, and for me that's enough to kind of give me like where he stands kind of in the pecking order because you're absolutely right. I haven't seen a whole lot from the other champs, and they haven't run across one another, so you don't really know a whole. It's hard to kind of gauge. So, anyway, all right, moving to not 132 because we already did it. Moving to 138 pounds. You know, again, bracket gods not being very kind to us. Puts number one Reed Yakes on the bottom side with Clinton Thompson from North Fort Myers, who only has that one loss on the year. I think I
This is a
can't remember.
guy from Doral.
Oh yeah, Sagai. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Up top, you've got Villarreal from Winter Springs, Joseph Scott from Archbishop McCarthy. Um, we could talk about all these. The bottom side, that third quarter of the bracket, though, Devin Hicks, Dylan Fernandez, and they get Reed Yakes as the freaking champ in that part of the bracket. Man, I'll tell you what, how important is it to win a region so you don't get that as your quarter?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and Yakes comes in and is three-time state placer, second, fourth, and fifth. Just I think the guy to beat here, and
I
based on
agree.
his resume, um, I think makes him a pretty solid favorite. Clinton Thompson is tough. He's got some quality wins. I don't know if he's on Yakes' level. Rudley Villarreal, same thing. Winter Springs, really talented wrestler, just a sophomore, and has had a really good start to his high school career. I don't know that he's on that level. Joseph Scott at Archbishop McCarthy has been wrestling so well this year, and he keeps getting better and better and thriving in that new program. He's not quite on that level, but all of those names I'm mentioning, Devin Hicks, we know what he can do. He's very talented
Hmm.
at New Smyrna Beach. Julian Brady, Suncoast, all of those guys on this other, on the back end. This will be one of those weight classes you want to watch through the contests because all of those guys, I at least, I could be wrong, don't have them on Yakes' level. They're all on a similar level to where you're going to have Conti semis, Conti quarters that are going to be fantastic, and they're
I
going to
agree.
go into overtime. They're going to go into tiebreakers because these guys are so talented and they're so evenly matched. I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out, in the other rounds that you can also watch.
Daniel?
I agree. I agree. However, Devin Hicks cannot sleep on his first round match. Dylan Fernandez is
Yeah,
somebody
it's
that
another thing we should have mentioned. You're right.
when he wrestles the way he knows how to wrestle, he can put it on you. And so he better not sleep on that young man right there. I know Dylan comes into this year. He was disappointed with his results last year in the state tournament. And I know he feels like he's got something to prove. And he's going to come in and wrestle his little tail off. So I think Devin Hicks, as good as he is, um, that's one of those matches, first round, that he just better show up for. Um, but yeah, everything else
Now.
here with the Reed Yakes and the Villarreals and everyone else that we know is so damn good in here. Yeah, it looks like we're looking at a backside that can be outstanding because a lot of these kids that may be in the finals in tournaments during the season are going to be on the backside, and we're going to get to see some fireworks. So I agree.
And predicting, you can't predict how these kids are going to react.
Hmm.
You can't predict if that first loss on the championship side, that's it. And you can't predict which kids are going to be even more fueled if they lose on the front side. That's always interesting to watch here.
I will say that to wrap this up, I do believe that the backside opens up for the unfortunate individual from either Fernandez or Hicks who do lose that opening round match. They are so good, and how the bracket kind of lays out. Don't be surprised if one of the two of them who lost their opening match has won three in a row and is on fire coming back through to get whoever was in the
Yep.
the conci semis. So
Yeah, I think that's definitely like the match to watch in the first round here.
all right, so let's move to
In
144.
my humble opinion.
Speaking of Austins,
Yeah, speaking of Austin's, and if I was doing the one with Scrappy for Lucas da Silva up in Georgia, he would have been like, "All right, slide left, let's move on," because the truth of the matter is, look, this is a talented group. Jake Giovino, Caden Kursel, Darian Shannon, Jacob Fuentes, Isaac Lowe versus Landon Murphy is going to be a great opening round match. Crilly up top, but no, I don't see anyone in the bracket who is close to the talent level of Jake Austin. That's just my opinion.
I
Yeah,
But
and I
I
got to tell you, one of the best matches is I've seen this year was one that he lost against Slidzowski down late and at St. John's, and it was a 10-8 match, and he wrestled his ass off. Yeah, he's somebody that is just he's not just Florida good, he's like all world good, man. This kid can wrestle
remember last year, and I think it changed him. He was on the ropes last year. Can't
against the
remember if it
kid from
was
Gulf Breeze.
it might have been the quarters. I don't even know if it was the semis. Um, and survived it and wrestled well at the end and then turned it back on. And I don't think we've seen him stop since then. I think he's a better wrestler from that moment on, like exponentially, which makes him an even bigger favorite here because he already knows that you can't take anyone easy here, or not easy, but for granted. And I think um, swipe left, but there's other stuff to watch here, so I'm not going to say swipe left.
Swipe left.
Fuentes and Shannon in the quarterfinal round.
yep.
I mean, that one's huge. You mentioned Loa Murphy in the first round. The way this works out, there are opportunities for some of your lower seeded wrestlers to get into this mess because these top wrestlers are going to knock each other out the way this bracket lays out. You're going to have probably a 6 versus 7, 4 versus 7, and a placing round. I mean,
Yeah. And
this is a brutal bracket uh, for what it's going to do to how it looks at the end.
another one that Isaac Lowland and Murphy match that Jason mentioned. One of those guys is going to move right. One of those guys is going to move left. The guy that moves left, don't be surprised if they get all the way to, the Bloods before getting tested again. They got a good run there. But, somebody obviously, with a Darian Shannon and a Caden Kersel in this bracket, I think you got to keep one eye open to those two. Those two are dangerous and can wrestle big time, especially when, I know Somerset goes places, but we know where Jesuit goes for sure outside of the state. They get their kids tested. So Kersaw's not going to walk into the lights and be like, "This is too big for me." He's going to show up
Oh,
and
100%. Right. No, I mean, look, Austin is a big favorite, but that doesn't mean that you can't be pushed. It doesn't mean that there's not somebody there that can figure it out and unlock the puzzle and figure out a way to beat you to do all these different things. It just doesn't happen very often. So when we talk about it, we talk about it as if this kid is a big favorite, and rightfully so because they are. But this is high school wrestling, man. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, I mean, anything can happen. So, if you're one of the other ones in the weight, Go out and prove Brant wrong, you know?
Wasn't it
So
you
let's
that
do
told
it.
us? You were just at a state tournament where a girl was the huge favorite and ended up getting taken to her back and pinned.
That yeah. So if you guys haven't seen it, a young lady who was ranked in the country, three-time state champion out of in the state of Iowa, uh, had beaten the individual that she wrestled in the finals a couple of times before. They knew how good she was. They came in prepared. They didn't overlook her, but he got into a scramble, and next thing you know, the three-time state champion did not become a four-time state champion because she was pinned, and it happens, man.
I mean,
And
I'm
it's
old enough to remember 5-time state champ Joe Silva on his back, just
mm,
praying for that clock to run out in his quarterfinal match, and just trying to outlast, someone got a head and arm on him or whatever and had him, and it
it
was he
happens.
pinned? Was he not? I don't know, but
It just
the
happens. And you
clock
know what?
ran
That's
out, and then he ended up
It's so great to
calling
hear
her.
these stories. Whenever you hear like legends, high school legends like that, and you always have somebody that tells you, "Well, I don't know. I saw when so and so was on his back and he was
Oh,
taking
this whole arena
and
saw
yeah,
this that
yeah,
day.
yeah.
I was sitting
And then
across the mat.
he came back and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's always good. Yeah,
all right.
144.
Moving to 150.
Yeah.
Down on the bottom side, we've got Jesuits Mason Basil. Tavian Smith from Jensen Beach is the region champ who shares that side. I really like Toby Pierce as somebody to watch on the bottom side of
English
that
national
bracket.
champion.
Up top, you've got Merrick Miller from New Smyrna Beach sharing the side with Angel Ojeda from Manatee. Ojeda gets Trevante Burgess from Lakeland in his quarter. Frey versus Collier is a top 10 matchup, according to Brandt, up in the top quarter. But I'll let you guys talk a little bit about Mason Basil because he is the favorite. And we're talking about a kid who has been close, but has not climbed to the top yet. And it just feels like this is the year.
Yeah, I mean the favorite going in, they shut him down last year. He tried to wrestle through a serious injury, decided that the future was more important, and now the future is here, and he's a favorite. The thing I like most about this bracket is he's sitting down there on the bottom, and Toby Pierce, as I said, he's an English national champ. He's still learning folk style. He's been here a few months. Um, but the top of this bracket is where the action is. And they're going to be wrestling for second place, in my opinion. Nothing against that. But you've got number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 in a state in class 2A for me in that bracket. And you've got a chance to see Miller and Frey in the second round. And Miller's had a fantastic season. Frey was the third place last year. Burgess and Ojeda. Ojeda's had just a fantastic season. Remember him, kind of another Super 32 early entry guy that
Hmm.
made his mark there, and kind of fell off a little bit, but then is finishing charging. Burgess has 2 wins against him this year. They meet in the quarterfinals. It's the top of this bracket. Every now and again, when you have a super favorite like you do with Mason, and as we just did a whole spiel, anyone can lose on any. But when you have that favorite, you love when the top has all the main contenders. So you're going to see like a battle between them to see who gets to be in that spot to test Mason. And we got lucky with this bracket.
I agree with you. I think Angel Ojeda is my dark horse here. I think he's somebody that if he can get rolling past that second round match, I think he's going to be trouble. He's been, I've seen him. He's been in the rooms practicing. He's been getting to work. I think he's a kid that, um, yeah, if he gets that one big win early against Burgess, I think that he's somebody that can scare everybody. But I think it looks like, I mean, everything sets up for Merrick Miller, Mason Basil here. I think those two kids, if you were to have to make a pick, I would pick those two to be in the finals. However, I do like Angel a lot. I like what he brings, and I think he is definitely somebody um, just to keep an eye open at. He could have an upset somewhere along the way here.
157, Up top, we've got Tristan Sains, number one, 30-0 on the season, defending state champion. Shares the top side with Daniel Rains from Middleburg. A couple other individuals up top to note. Cooper Garcia, is ranked number seven. Um, Down below, kind of things get interesting with Jackson Arfars. Is that how you say it?
Our
Arfars?
Forest.
Forrest. Sorry, Jackson. Talented freshman out of Lake Gibson. Brooks Cohen, who's the number eight region champ there, but shares the bracket with Santis of North Miami and Colazo from Gulf Breeze, which should be an absolute
Great first round match.
great opening round match. Dan, the question I have for you in this bracket is Saints the biggest favorite in 2A?
Yes. Him or Jake Austin, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you see this bracket playing out? Do you see anybody tripping Saints up? Who's your dark horse out of it?
My dark horse here would be that winner of the 2-6 match. I think those two kids are tough in Colazo and Santias. I think that'd be my dark horse right there. But I just think everybody's wrestling for second place here. I think we're gonna have a fun wrestle back. I think Tristan Sains, when he's wrestling at his top level, he's gonna be a very, very tough out. Somebody is going to have to wrestle out of their mind, and he's going to have to wrestle
Insane.
in Saints. Yes, he's
In the
gonna.
membrane.
He is in. Last year, the Saints family went insanes and put three in the finals. And if they can go insanes again this year, I think they'll have a few there too. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a fun. I don't see anybody beating him. I mean, good luck to the rest of the field, but
Brant?
I think this weight class is like tiered. You have Saints at the top. I think you have Alfares and Centeus as like that second tier. I think and I'm glad they're going to battle for second. And then you have the rest of the tiers where, I mean, you could look at a Riche from Heritage or a Reyes from Suncoast, uh, even a Kionis from Springstead that could end up on the podium because they
Hmm.
can, you have like it's really hard to figure out the rest of this bracket because let me tell you, Brooks Cohen wins the region title. He's got a loss this season to Cuthbertson. Reyes has beat Cuthbertson. Kionis has beat. I mean, so like there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Just it's really evenly matched there, and
Very,
I
yeah.
think you'll see from like 4 to 8 on this podium could be a variety of things. So Sains is the top. As far as a freshman has gotten better every single week. He's
Hmm.
got one of those Lake Gibson records. He's 35-16, and probably 14 of those 16 losses are like state champs and state placers. Um, and he's coming into his own. And then beyond that, so from fourth to eighth, I think it's gonna be interesting. It could be anybody that fills those spots.
yeah. So what he's saying is,
You've been holding that one for a couple of minutes.
woo!
He
That boy's
tried.
on
He
top.
tried.
That
I
boy's
think
on
we all
top.
saw it. All right, 165. Unfortunately, at 65, we have the top two on the bottom side of the bracket with KJ
Yeah,
Vasquez of Jesuit and Evan Rowe from Braden River. They do have Sidney Katz from Somerset, super tough kid down there as well, who's ranked number eight by Brant. Up top, much more chaos, maybe. A lot more to look at. Hayden Smith from Childs is number four. Atticus Dye, number five. Both are your region champs. But man, I'll tell you what, those middle freaking first round matches up top, they are the ones to talk about, in my opinion. Brant?
yeah. I mean, you're and again, this is one of those weight classes where we don't know a lot because they haven't faced each other. Some of them, but yeah, Konstantin Kaspikian, uh, Hayden Smith in that quarterfinal round 3 versus 4. Smith quietly a really strong year up there in Childs, region champ. He's done very well against the guys that he's wrestled. He comes in. You're not going to know maybe a lot about him because we haven't seen him down this way. Um, In fact, I'm looking right now. All his losses might be out of state. I don't have any Florida losses listed for him. Being up and near the Panhandle in the turn, that he could create some havoc there. I think that's a really interesting match there. Uh, I think KJ is, it's his time. Two-time state finalist. Uh, I feel he is,
I agree.
maybe a cut above everybody in this one. He's 2-0 against Kaspikian if they should both meet the finals. But you just have that. We've got a couple of them this year. Guys that have just been um, right there, kind of waiting their turn, and now it is their turn. And I think he's the one to beat there. He has, other than Rowe in the bottom, that is a light as light a bracket as you can get with just Cats and Rowe as top nine wrestlers down there. So watch the top half and then enjoy Vasquez getting his first deserved title.
Daniel, anything to add, or you agree 100%? Let's move on.
I agree 100% with Brant.
All right. Okay.
Swipe left.
There we go.
Yeah.
175 produces a very interesting bracket, in my opinion. Again, very unfortunate that we don't have Garrett and Rodriguez on the opposite
Yep.
side. I think it's another bracket that Brant has been talking about in that a lot of these individuals, these region champs, have not faced one
We don't know
another.
much about them against each
We
other.
don't really have any idea.
Yeah.
Now, we do know Jacob Rodriguez and James Garrett and um there's one other individual, and I'm trying to remember who it was. It was Hernandez, who had been on the podium before. So we know that
Rodriguez is the fourth place finisher. Garrett is placed twice, and Hernandez is state placer. Brady
Yeah.
was in the state tournament last year also.
Yeah, and you got Bray down there at number three. You've got a really good matchup with Wright and Gifford, 6 and 8. You got Weatherly down as a region champ down at the bottom. But I mean, it's hard because they haven't run across one
Yeah.
another. So
And James Garrett at Springstead has really thrived this year. Jacob Rodriguez too. Rodriguez we've seen everywhere.
yep.
Last summer, last fall, winter springs, the schedule is tough. Um, but I don't know how to go. That one could go either way. I'll be honest with you. On the other side, I see Hernandez out of North Fort Myers, a guy that's just been doing great every year and piling up big wins. I think he could be the one that reaches the final there, but I could be wrong on all four because we don't know much about this weight class, to be honest.
That's what I was
There's
going
some
to say.
intriguing ones. Quentin O'Donnell, Quentin O'Driscoll and Aiden Williams is a great first round matchup. I have them both off the podium in my rankings, but if you win there, you get a chance to compete. I think a winnable chance. And then my guy to watch, it's not really a dark horse, but you always got to pick, like the Lake Gibson and Jesuit kids to reach that next level at the state tournament. Paul Wright could mess some things up here too.
Daniel.
I think it's Yahtzee, my friends. I think everybody in here is good, but they're not great. I don't think there's one person in here that we go, wow, that guy is uh, light years above. I think Jacob Rodriguez, who's number one, is one of those maybe on the prefaces. Did I say that word right? Of
Precipice.
precipice,
Precipice.
precipice of that. I know being a senior, I think he's going to step his level up and go big. But there's really nobody that I look at this bracket and go, okay, clearly that's the guy. I just don't see it. I mean, even when you go down to Rodriguez is going to have most likely Kirinenko quarterfinal. That kid is no slouch. That kid brings it. Um, and they're both seniors. They're both wrestling to stay alive at that point. Yeah, it's one of those brackets that I I wouldn't know how to pick the top four. So shout out to Brant because I wouldn't know top four.
Because I'm the one that will get the emails.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, one of the things I think is really interesting is that you've got seniors, and seniors who have been here, seniors who have been on the podium and are ready to win a state title. Um, Will we get somebody who's other than a senior surprising everybody and making a run? Possibly, but I think the seniors that we've actually highlighted here are probably your most likely candidates to claim a title. The question
This will
is
be a fun weight class
which
for my
one?
way too early rankings that will come out later in March. Because who's the best underclassmen here that will position themselves for next year?
Brant will sleep between that point from now and that point though. So just so you guys know. All right, down at 190, we do have the top two on the opposite sides with Wes Lucas, the number three, up top with Landon Martin. Really good matchups in the middle of that bracket. Down below, you've got Mateo Martinez, who's your number one seed. He does draw a very good Landon Dickerson in his quarter. Parker Miller from Edgewater is your other region champ on the bottom. The thing that I like about this bracket is the fact that Martinez has looked really good. He looked good at 215. Now that he's down at 190, Martin Dickerson, Wes Lucas, who's only a sophomore,
Yeah.
man, as a freshman was major region champ, but like made the podium as a freshman at a 190 pounds. So, I mean, lots of really good kids in the bracket. Martinez has looked great though.
Yeah. I mean, Martinez is your pick here, I think. State champ last year, state placer the year before. Uh, Listen, Landon Dickerson has a win over Martin. Martin wrestled that one with one hand, but when they wrestled in the region final, I think it was just a point or two
Yeah, it
that
was
separated
4-3, I
two. Yeah,
think.
so it was a close match. So Dickerson is the real deal. He can put a scare into Mateo there. He's the only one I think in the bottom that can. We've not seen much of Parker Miller. He's got a very strong record, and he's got some wins in there, and certainly a region champ in a tougher region carries some
And I
weight
think he
there.
dominated his region. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
so there's something there, but we don't know a lot about him. But the match that I'm just so excited to watch in this one is Martin Lucas. Just the two of them both have the athleticism for a big guy to be able to make it a really fun match, and they're so talented, and I would almost say even keeled for who to pick in this one, and through almost a coin flip. Um, that's the one I'm really looking forward to in this weight class is if they meet in the semis. Again, not an easy task. Martin most likely will have to go through Ben Gordon or Bosowski from Jesuit, and then you have Oliva and Dasanoldo for the winner of that would face Lucas. So not an easy top bracket, but if they make it to the semis, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I think if you said pick the top bracket, I would pick Martin versus Lucas. But my one dark horse is Robert Bosowski. I think that um, he's finally coming into the back half of this year. He's been healthy. He's been wrestling at a high level. He's been listening to the coaches. He's been doing all the right things. And we saw him make his first state tournament, right? And he's a senior.
mhm.
And I think he's really going to come in with wrestling
And
really,
then
really tough.
those
He's got to get
those
past
teams get that
Gordon.
magic too.
Yeah, he's got to get past Gordon that first round, but he's not going to be an easy out for Landon Martin. I think most people, like we said, we'd probably go chalk here as far as if we were going semifinals, but with Dickerson there, with Basowski and Gordon up there, I mean, some people can make some noise. But the backside of this bracket is going to be insane because somebody of those we're talking about is moving left. And woohoo. So
Yeah.
yeah, my opinion there, my dark horse, but my dark horse has to wrestle maybe the best kid in the bracket in the quarterfinals, right? So it'll be a tough act to follow. But again, Benjamin from Gordon from Heritage, 53-7.
I'll tell you, watching Wes Lucas wrestle a year ago, I as a freshman at that weight, I just think that I don't think it happens this weekend, but he will win a state title, I believe, before all is said and done.
Yeah, he's
So,
so good.
all
Is
right.
that North
So,
Fort Myers? Is that North Fort Myers? Yeah,
but I think did he wrestle for South Fort Myers last year? No? Okay.
No, I believe that North from Iowa, I believe his brother wrestled there with him last year.
All right.
His brother
Yeah,
was in
he's
the
an
mix
absolute
last year.
stud. And I think if we get that 2-3 matchup, we're going to be treated to a fantastic semis.
We moved to 285, and the bracket gods
Grr.
hate us. I mean, like hate us. Um,
Yeah,
look,
how does that shit happen? Jesus.
I love the fact that I mean this is a really good bracket. This is a really good bracket. There's a up top, Bentley is tough, Stouter is tough. The matches in the middle are going to be really good with the twos and threes, and Jakari Johnson, and Stouter in the opening round is going to be a really, really good match. Callahan and Jimenez put themselves in a tough spot by not winning their region with the way the bracket laid out. But you can't the headline at 285
Yeah.
is Elder Newton part five when
Yeah,
they
this
wrestled
year.
this year, or the part five would be the semis.
Yeah,
I
I
think
have that
Elder is
number
three
for
and
you.
one. They've
He's
wrestled
yes, 4 times.
tiebreaker, sudden victories. I mean, we are just talking, just if we're highlighting the best in the state competing on the biggest stage, this should be the one that you put on opposite sides. I don't care who you move, just move
Just
one of them.
find a way.
Yeah,
Jackson
yeah,
Newton.
it's terrible. I mean, we're gonna see the champion, the two arguably the best heavyweights are right there.
It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. I'm sorry.
Newton, 2-time state finalist, has just an extremely athletic heavyweight. Blake Elder, same kind of style, just the way he moves on the mat, and like you said, every match has been close. Elder's wins are tiebreaker 7-6 and sudden victory. Newton's match is tiebreaker. This will be one of the, it'll be something similar to that. It could end up being ultimate tiebreaker because they don't have that in the list. It's a shame it's going to happen Saturday afternoon or Friday afternoon, and we won't be able to finish off Saturday night with this one as the last match on that 2A mat, because it's going to be special. These guys, they've got respect for each other. They wrestle so well. It's tough to see one of these kids not make the finals here, because they both deserve that shot.
Maybe the two best heavyweights in our state, not named Michael Mako.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean, they are just absolute studs, and uh, whoever got to live up top, good for you.
Well, you know what? If you got to live up top, make the most of your freaking chance,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
get
Like
there.
like
too.
any of the eight of them, make your run to the state finals. And you know what? I don't care who you get in the state finals. You got one match. You might have a shot at taking away, the title. So, you know,
Yeah.
um,
If you get to the dance.
you have a
You got
chance,
a
man.
chance.
You have a chance. All right. All right. So that is
Let's talk
that is
teams real
2A.
quick
I
before
know.
we
Yeah, I
wrap.
know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
That is 2A. Now that we've wrapped up the brackets from top to bottom, let's take just a moment and talk a little bit about perhaps the best team race in the entire building. Um, Girls 1A, 3A, but I believe 2A with the team studs you have throughout.
Yes.
Grant, take it
I
away.
mean, and that's the case. I mean, we didn't mention team races in the other ones, but and I've not finished doing 1A, but Matter Lakes, I think has the edge there, just the amount of champions they'll have. Orlando Freedom has kind of, even without having a projected champion, has kind of taken that mantle in the girls, and in South Dade, uh, they're not going to be caught again. But 2A is always tight. Last year, uh,
So
people
much
may
fun.
not have seen Somerset coming and winning it, but according to my projections, even though it was a 10-point difference in regions, Lake Gibson wins this one 30, 40 points. They have 11 state placers in my predictions. They've got 12 wrestlers there. Every one of them scores some points. They've got 3 champions. I have Jesuit, 3 champions, nine placers. Somerset, 2 champions, 9 placers. Those are the three to watch in the team race this year. They
30
are
to 40 points, though. That would be huge. That means that the depth of Gibson really came through.
And that's going to be the key for them is can that depth. They've got a couple nice brackets where I think they maybe play, they overachieve placing based on their rankings by one or two because of some good brackets, but their champs need to win. A couple of the other guys need to reach the finals, and then one or two overperform, and I think that might end up being a comfortable win. Now, a couple of those guys don't win those matches, those swing matches. Jesuit maybe picks up, uh, you talked about it, 215 or a couple of these other weights at 106, picks up more than what we thought. Then this becomes a very tight race. So, based on my predictions and my rankings, it looks a little bit more comfortable. And of course, Coach Walker would never want to even hear that. Um,
Absolutely. He's like, shut
but
that off.
it's just stop talking. Um,
Well, but like Chris
but
Berman
this
says,
could end up being
that's
tight if
why
you
they
just
play the game.
is exactly why. So I'm going into this thinking that it's a more comfortable win going into the final night. But as happens every year, if some of these early ones that are so key in a team race that we may not even talked about some of them because they're not the champs and they're not the second place finishers. It's the guys I have listed finishing third, fourth, or fifth.
Mhm.
If some of them go pear shaped, that changes how this plays out as a team race. But it is the best team race I think this weekend. I
Mhm.
think it's always one of the best team races, and it won't disappoint. And you can never count out Somerset if a couple of those guys that we mentioned get rolling, wrestle above where we have them right now, then they get into the mix, and we know they can produce on the final night if needed.
Well, we saw last year, and you got maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I think four finals matches was Jesuit Somerset, and I think it could have it did
Somerset needed to win like four or five,
last
and
year.
they
Last
did.
year it went
Yeah,
to Somerset. They ended up winning when they had to, and that put Somerset ahead of Jesuit, right? So anything could have
some
happened right there. But
a
you
couple
don't think
former Somerset guys helped them too. So
you think that this is going to be settled even before we get to the finals?
I feel if it goes how I see it, um, but I reserve the right to be wrong
There you have it for the
always.
great Cabra. What do you think, Jason?
I actually, I will parrot what you've been parroting, and that is, I have a tendency to agree. I think if Gibson's depth comes through, I think it's really hard for anybody else to stay with them. But that requires
Them to come through?
Desandolo and Wright and other
And White,
individuals throughout
Tyler
the
White.
group to
Yeah,
come back through and make the podium. And if they don't, and and the other teams, with Saints and Somerset, or Basowski with Jesuit, and you're gonna get your points with Yakes and Basil and Vasquez. You're gonna get your points from Tristan Saints. But are you gonna, down at 106, if he comes back and he gets third, or he makes the finals, or
yeah,
whatever, things change, man. I mean, who knows? It's gonna be fun. That's
yeah.
all I gotta say. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. And 106 is gonna play a role in that, and there's a few other spots um to that will feel that will play this out. 144 is a big one between at a weight class where they don't none of the three have a favorite, but how they play out could be the difference between 10, 15 points. You score 10 more than the other, that's a 20-point swing potentially. That's where this thing is going to be won, not necessarily um, with the champions.
Well, they say
And,
that
and and getting bonus points, which you would expect from certain guys. You would expect Saints to get bonus points. You expect Basile to get bonus points, KJ to get bonus points, Chavez to get bonus points. So
That's right.
it's going to be fun. That's just a snapshot of right now what I have, but it could obviously be very different.
yeah, they say the team title is won on the backside. When I talk to anybody at the
100%.
high school level or at the college level, they say
It's how do
team
those
Redwood
guys
won.
bounce back
Yep.
from disappointment?
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
All right,
Well,
guys.
that
Well,
is 2A.
best of luck to everyone this weekend. And
I will
yeah,
sign
2A
off
is gonna
by
be fun.
I will sign off by saying again, as I look for my cursor,
Got to find his clicker.
please show up for the
Oh,
podium.
we got to start. Remind me. Let's start the last one, 3-8, and mention that first. But yeah, go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, because you're going to regret it when you get older. Show up, Parents encourage it, no matter what happened. I don't want to Photoshop your kid into the podium. Have them there. Good luck, everybody. See you tonight. Peace.